Bound for Glory ticket sales. Let's get to the Bound for Glory ticket sales. So you guys remember the announced attendance was 7,794. Well, Brandon Thurston had a turnstile count. So what is the turnstile count? So because they did the show at the University of Massachusetts in Lowell, which is a state university, it is publicly funded essentially, and so whatever money they make kind of is like taxpayer like money, I guess. It's a publicly funded building, so whatever money they get goes back into that pot. So because of that, the records of the revenue records and ticket sale records and how many people are showing up and all of that information is public information. So Brandon Thurston was able to get access to it. All he has to do is ask and they will give it to him. It's not like when they go to like these private arenas and private venues, you can't get that information. This is something I understood before. So I'll tell you a quick story. Back in 2019 in Nashville, they did a show at the fairgrounds called Homecoming. I think it was like either 2018, 2019. And there was somebody said that they had 2,000 people there. And I was like, they did not. Because I'm very skeptical. I'm always a skeptic. So I never believe what people tell me at face value when it comes to things like that in the wrestling business, right? When it comes to my personal life, it's totally different. You tell me something, I was like, I'm going to believe you until I can't. Pro wrestling is different. I'm not going to believe you until you give me evidence or proof, right? Until I have enough evidence that this is true. So they said something like that. It was like they had like 1,700, 2,000 people there. I was like, there's no fucking way. So I called the fucking building. I was like, I think these people are lying. And they said that they don't give out that information. That's proprietary information that only the wrestling company can provide. So I was like, okay. So they just let people believe that 2,000 people were there. Similarly, Bound for Glory 2019 was at, I think, the Odeum in Chicago. It's no longer a building. Somebody said that show had 5,000 people, and it did not. No, 3,000. I'm sorry. Somebody said that it had 3,000 people, and it did. And it had like maybe closer to 2,000, maybe like 1,800 people, but it did not have 3,000 people. And so like there's a long history of TNA kind of inflating stuff. And so, and I've tried to get that information before because of private buildings, I was not able to, but Brandon was able to do that. And he did that to AEW twice because similar situation in Wembley Stadium overseas. They announced whatever it was, 77,000 people for All In a couple years ago. Fucking Will Ospreay got the tattoo. I do wonder, this is a joke from you, and I do wonder which TNA wrestler got 7,794 tattooed on their body, by the way. I want to know that if a wrestler did it, maybe it was Skylar. It sounds like a Skylar thing to do, but I'm sure somebody did it. I want to know. But anyway, the turnstile count. So what's turnstile count? It's the tickets scanned. So how many people actually came to the event and scanned their tickets was 6,137. Tickets sold, 5,554. The seating capacity, so the max amount of people they could get into the building, was 7,484. But again, they only had 6,100 people that scanned their tickets. Now, Ross Foreman did say that there were VIPs, sponsors, family and friends of talent themselves, crew members that would have taken that were in there that did not get their tickets scanned. And so then they were in the standing room only. And so he said that would have been more, and then maybe they had a VIP. So we'll give them a 6,500. Call it good. Okay. They're still going with the 7,794 people, but I don't think they had, 1,600 people in standing room only. I don't think they did. Maybe I'm wrong, but they're willing to show me the work, right? But they did a gate of 390,000 people, which is very likely the biggest gate in the history of the company. Very likely. But they have not announced that. I just like my read. I think it might be. The building rental fee was only $45,000, so they made good money on this show. Food and beverage, actually the concession that they had there did 122,000, but that goes to the building, not to the company. So yeah, it was a really, really successful show. The problem is they lied about the attendance, so now nobody has any respect for it. Now everybody's looking at it as a failure because of the fact that they lied about their attendance. And I told you guys they were going to lie about the attendance. Here, let me do a share screen here. I called it almost to a T. I called it. News bits from the show was the attendance record. I told you guys last week, because like if they get anywhere close to 7, they're announcing they broke that attendance record, because they've been putting it out there for weeks now that they were wanting to do it. Like this was their goal. Now what they've done is they've set up this expectation that they're going to reach this goal, and if they don't get it, they're going to be seen as failures. So what they do is, if they get anywhere close, like nobody has access to the data, you can just say it, right? But when you're looking at the show, you see the empty seats. it's like we can see you guys. Like now it's a big crowd. There's a lot of people there. And the truth was probably very impressive.
Yeah.
Anywhere from 6 to 6,500.
Listen to me make it.
And if they would have announced that, that would have been a big deal. But because they set up the expectation that they have to beat Slammiversary, they have to go in and announce they broke the record. And now nobody believes it.
Yeah. So I mean that's essentially what happened. They set the expectation up that they had to break the record, and they didn't. So instead of taking the L on it, they just lied about it. They lied about the record. So the whole thing was a goddamn fraud, which the pro wrestling business is a fraud. Look, AEW inflates their numbers, WWE inflates their numbers. I get all that. This is a TNA podcast, so I'm gonna take TNA's inventory on this thing, and the TNA should be accountable for lying. And that's the problem. But they had a really good house. They did a really good job of selling that show. The Dudleys versus Hardys, they did a great job of building that match. That match sold a lot of tickets for a TNA level event, right? Sold a lot of tickets, and they should be proud of that. But unfortunately, because they just can't seem to get out of their own way. They fucked it up by lying about it in a building that is a public building, to where a guy like Brandon Thurston is going to be able to get access to that data. And so now they're proven to be frauds, and that sucks. But everybody inflates their numbers. I totally get that. But you know what? This is a TNA podcast, so we're going to talk about TNA and talk about their bullshit. But I feel bad for a lot of the TNA fans, because none of you guys have any accountability. None of you guys have any dignity. A lot of you guys came after me. You guys called me old. You guys made fun of my hairline. Miguel Contreras called me a sicko. I like Miguel, but he called me a sicko. Said I'm being an AEW homer, which I wasn't. I have a TNA podcast, so when TNA lies, I take them to task for it. I don't have an AEW podcast. Now on Mike and JD show, we talk about AEW, but we talk about all the wrestling, right? AEW happens to be kind of on the forefront a lot of times, but it's not an AEW podcast. It's not. So, but because I have this podcast, I do this TNA podcast, and because of my my online identity, which is very centered around covering TNA, that's kind of like why a lot of people follow me, is like dick jokes and TNA news. So when they do some bullshit, I'm going to talk about it. I'm probably not going to talk about it as much if AEW or WWE does it. I'm not going to go too into it, but you're going to get more from me when it comes to TNA, because that's part of the deal. I have a TNA podcast, right?